Update 15 in the Rogue Prince of Persia is finally out! If you don't know, this is the final update before the official 1.0 release, and I seriously can't wait. Check out my analysis of the trailer if you haven't already. But in the meantime, Evil Empire is cooking, and this update is just as packed as the others. I thought the difficulty was already high enough. Well, I was wrong. They also made some small changes that totally affects the whole game. Stay until the end for those. Let's go! Let's start with a very cool feature named Arsenal. Now, when you've unlocked enough items, meaning weapons, tools and medallions, you'll be able to ban specific ones, so you won't encounter them anymore in your runs. Time to say farewell to Censor! You can ban up to 12 medallions out of 50, 7 weapons out of 22 and 3 tools out of 10. This gives you the power to remove weapons you don't enjoy while still keeping a nice variety in your runs. Moving to the UI, they added a new tutorial section in the pause menu where you can quickly check past tutorials with some extra info in case you forgot something. Also, maps keep getting better. Both the area map and the world map now have a toggleable legend which also shows the names of points of interest so you can reach what you're looking for more easily. I really hope though that they'll add icons for first aids and other items like weapons to avoid boring backtracking. For anyone at Evil Empire who's listening, a little suggestion has just been dropped. Another addition in this update is story objectives. Since there's an actual progression in the story shown through the mind map, they now added a more general current objective that pops up every time you start a new run. This should help you remember what you're working on to keep moving forward in the narrative. The Book of Heads, aka the bestiary with all enemies' objectives, was heavily reworked. Before, it required a lot of grinding and some quests were quite demanding, both in terms of difficulty and RNG. Now all the weapons and tool quests have been rebalanced, thankfully. Also, the final boss quests no longer require endless runs, which is totally fine by me since those quests unlock a skin. Now, before we dive into the small changes that completely changed the run, let's quickly go through some quality of life improvements. First, medallions now gracefully fall to the ground, which is a small but satisfying touch. When you kill an enemy, the game shows you how much gold you get from it. Then transience, aka weapon durability, is now much more visible. In the Oasis, Shaheen and his mother appear in the background, which adds a nice sense of depth to the hub. They also improved the medallion's UI even more. Now when a medallion is activated, it's highlighted clearly. And finally, they added specific icons for lower rooms and challenge rooms on the map, which is super useful. Alright, this is the moment where we get into the cool stuff, and if you jumped directly here, shame on you. First, elites are now hidden by default. They only appear when you get close to them with a cool little animation, instant jump scares guaranteed. Speaking of elites, golden elites now give you back your gold when you kill them, so no more skipping them just to save your money. In the last update, the Evil Empire reshaped the whole gold economy, and now recycling gives you more money depending on the weapon's level or the medallion's rarity. That's a great improvement. Something else you'll probably like, Altan becomes a bit easier. Some of his attacks were badly designed, especially the area of effect during laser attacks. Another change is that now we don't have energy refill by default, and that's a general change. You'll often find yourself running out of energy more quickly than before. You'll need to adjust your strategy, but I think this actually improves the gameplay overall. Something that I didn't like though was the update to Vayu's protection, the shield that you get when Vayu's breath is active. Now it only protects you from 50% of the damage taken, not 100% like before. That means that high awakening, even with protection active, you'll still bleed, risk breaking a medallion and so on. Not a fan of this change, but that's how it works now. Lastly, and here I'm reading straight from Evil Empire patch notes, a quick rework of some stones and the additions of new ones, especially around Death Defiance, aka the Resurrection on Death system. These changes to the difficulty modifiers were honestly huge. Death Defiance used to be really OP, but now you'll seriously have to consider whether it's worth picking. Spoiler, for me it is still. Now when you die, enemies become stronger, one medallion slot is broken, your max HP is reduced by 40. Also, if you have the Awakening of the Cursed, every time you're hit, your max HP drops by 10% of the damage taken. This makes the Flask of Iraq, the item that increases max HP by 60, a must pick. And you can now see how the Vayu's protection nerf is even harder. The runs are definitely more challenging now. On max difficulty I often end up dying in the first biome. Whoops! But I had to admit, finishing a run feels a lot more satisfying now. I'm just a little scared thinking about what 1.0 will bring with the extra biome and the final boss. That's all for this update. Again, this is the last update before the full 1.0 release, and it's been amazing to follow along throughout the past year, sharing runs and going through each changelog. I literally can't wait to see what 1.0 brings, and in the meantime, I'll keep sharing some crazy runs with you too. Let me know if you're already trying out update 15 in the comments, or if you're holding off for the full release. And don't forget to leave a like, this helped you, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Perfect, I did my job here. See you in the Oasis. Bye!